Hello, I'm Mary Jane from Creatuto, and I'm going to show you how I make my place cards with the craft roses that I use when I'm having guests for dinner. So I've done my calligraphy on watercolor paper using a parallel pen. I haven't taken a long time to do it because these are not works of art that I'm going to keep forever. They're just something that are going to be relatively disposable. So I try to make them look nice, but without spending hours and hours on them. What I've done is cut myself in the orange paper. I've cut out just a banner sort of shape that I use as a template that I'm using to place over my calligraphy, roughly, just making sure that it's not spilling off the edges, cutting out a little point at the ends of my banners. Now I'm using some distress ink to color the paper a little bit because I don't want it to remain stark white, and I'm going to use my sponge just to distress the edges of my banner as well. We're going to use a strip of craft paper that's ripped on the long edges. That's roughly 50 by 3 centimeters wide. And what you're going to see here is I'm going to start at one end. Oh, I could distress it, but that takes a long time. I'm folding over the first end at 45 degrees, you see? And then I'm going to start from the end and roll it up. And when I've gotten to the end of the part that was folded over, I'm just going to add a bit of glue with my glue gun. I prefer the glue gun because it's a little bit more supple. I am going to flip the paper over. Look, I'm turning it down so that I have again a 45-degree angle edge, and pinching it in at the bottom, I'm going to turn the paper until I have the paper sort of sticking out straight again. There's a bit of glue that's going in here in the inner fold. I'm folding it over. And now that my paper is out more or less straight, again, I'm going to fold it over once more, 45 degrees, pinching in at the bottom, and I turn and I turn, add a bit of glue, turn it again until my paper is more or less straight, and then once again I'll fold it over at 45 degrees, twist, turn, put a bit of glue in the inner fold. And I repeat that several times until I get close to the end of my strip. So twist, turn, add some glue, fold it over, and turn again. Add some more glue. Obviously, you want your rose to loosen up as you go through your strip. In the beginning, you fold and turn so that it's relatively tight, and when you get towards the end of your strip, you let it go a bit. You let it loosen up a little bit so that the rose has a bit more volume on the outside petals, we'll say. I've slowed this part of the film down so that you can see perhaps a little bit more clearly what I'm doing. The bits of glue gun glue that hang around, I get rid of later. So twist, fold, glue. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Towards my end, I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to put a big dab of glue in the center there. And then I'm going to fold the last bit of paper right over that so that it sort of holds it all in into the shape that I've folded and twisted. I'm going to let it cool down a little tiny bit. I'm going to glue my rose onto a little cutout circle that I have because at the end of my banner, and Sophie's name being relatively long, I don't have much space. So I'm gluing my rose onto this little piece, this cutout circle. And then I'm going to stick her banner, the banner with her name, in between the rose and that little circle. Like so. I don't often do that. It's just that I didn't have much room left at the end of her banner. You might have noticed at the first of the film there was one made for Magali, and because I had tons of room left over, I just stuck the rose right on the end of the banner. So there, that's what I end up with. That's what I use as place markers when I have guests. You can find this over on my Creatuto blog if you want to see it again. Thanks for joining me.